Crash Bandicoot and the gang are back in Crash Team Rumble, so before you pick it up and start brawling, here's everything you need to know. Crash Team Rumble is the latest offering from Toys for Bob, the same developer behind 2020's epic Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. The game sees two teams consisting of 4 players each compete against one another to gather more Wumpa fruit than their opponents. In essence, it's an objective-based brawler that at face value may seem pretty mindless and simplistic, but is, in fact, more challenging than one might think. But before we get into all the game's mechanics, the full cast of characters you can expect to see at launch include Tawna Bandicoot, Dr. Neo Cortex, Dingodile, Dr. N. Jin, Dr. Nitrous Brio, for some reason female Dr. Nefarious Tropy, Coco Bandicoot, Ripperoo, Crash Bandicoot, and an all-new character called Catbat. Although she does make a brief appearance in Crash Bandicoot 4, Crash Team Rumble will be the first time she actually features as a playable character. Each character has their own special abilities that they can use in-game to gain the upper hand over their opponents, but broadly speaking, characters fall into one of 3 categories. First up are scorers, characters that are able to traverse environments more rapidly and gather Wumpa fruit to deposit into their team's Wumpa bank. Crash, Tawna, and Catbat fall under this particular category. Then there are blockers, who play a more defensive role and protect their team's Wumpa banks from opponents. Right now, blockers consist of Dingodile, Ripperoo, Entropy, and N-Brio. Finally, there are boosters, who are tasked with collecting relics and gems that can then be used to power up every member of their team. Coco, Engine, and Cortex all fulfill this role. On this basis, you'll need to consider who to play as and what their main role is before actually starting a match. It's also safe to say that team composition will be a determining factor in how successful you are in game. So if you and your fellow rumblers can find a winning formula, then the scales should be tipped well in your favor. However, certain combinations may work better in different arenas or against different opponents, so you'll probably have to mix it up from time to time if you really want to dominate. As for maps, there should be 5 to choose from at launch. The current list consists of Tiki Towers, Just Bleachy, Insanity Caverns, Calamity Canyon, and Bogged Down. Tiki Towers is described as a mysterious islet located in the Wumpa archipelago and has 3 relic stations, one that summons Uka Uka, another that bombards either your own or the opponent's Wumpa bank, and the Bandicootapult, which launches characters across the map when touched. Just Bleachy is a training facility that was handmade by Coco and features 2 relic stations, one that grants a bonus bank and another called Beach Ball that appears around each of your teammates and acts as a shield that can damage enemies. Insanity Caverns is actually based on the Insanity Peak level from Crash Bandicoot 4. It comes with 2 relic stations, one that summons Lani Lolly and the other that turns all team members into giant Spirit Guardian versions of themselves. Then, like Insanity Caverns, Calamity Canyon is based on the Hazardous Waste level seen in Crash Bandicoot 4. There are 3 relic stations here, the first being one that summons Nitrous Oxide to follow opposing team members around in his UFO, the second creating a huge force field around either your bank or the opposing teams, and the third and final creating a spiky sphere around your character called a Junker Ball. Bogged Down seems to be set in a swampy area and is actually part of Crash Team Rumble's first season, which lasts from the game's launch on June 20th until September 11th, 2023. Technically, Ripperoo and Dr. N. Jin are also part of the first season, as is the addition of a TNT Sticky Bomb power. Just so you know, there are 4 other powers: the Flytrap Spitter, Healing Fridge, Gasmoxian Guard, and Wumpa Stash. Details on Season 2 haven't been released as yet, but I assume that as Season 1 draws to a close, we'll get more info about new maps, heroes, and weapons that will become available to players. Also be aware that there are 2 versions of Crash Team Rumble that are available, first being the Standard Edition and the second the Deluxe. Both editions grant you a Season 1 Premium Battle Pass, but the Deluxe Edition also gives you a Season 2 Battle Pass as well as a 25-tier unlock for Season 1 in a digital proto pack. As I mentioned earlier, each character has their own moveset which makes them entirely unique. For example, Dingodile has an ability called Vacuum that can quickly collect Wumpa and relics and even damages opponents a little while also slowing them down. Meanwhile, Cortex can drop entire pianos on opponents, causing serious damage to any characters who are unfortunate to get hit. Naturally, you'll want to experiment with each character and see which of them resonates most with your personality and preferred playstyle. Apparently, Crash is a good choice for anyone just starting out with a game, but that said, don't be afraid to vary it up a little and have fun while you're doing so. Now, just to be clear, Crash Team Rumble is an online multiplayer game only. That means no story mode, no single player, no arcade, nothing. In other words, you will need a decent internet connection to play the game, so bear this in mind before you decide to buy in. Also, there will be crossplay for multiplayer sessions, so regardless of which console you own, you shouldn't have any issues with matchmaking. At least, we hope so. While there may not be any kind of narrative or single-player mode, Crash Team Rumble should have several different game types for players to enjoy. But what those are right now, or when they'll become available, is still something that's forthcoming, so hopefully more on this will be announced soon. The game promises to be a fun, wacky experience that fans of Crash Bandicoot should love, but there will probably also be several people who are unhappy that this isn't Crash Bandicoot 5 or a new Crash Team Racing, which I suppose is understandable. That said, don't sleep on Crash Team Rumble, as you may just be pleasantly surprised by the experience. Crash Team Rumble is out on June 20th, 2023 and will be available for Xbox and PlayStation. And that, dear friends, is that. Are you pumped to play Crash Team Rumble? And which character or characters are you most eager to play as? Let me know in the comments below. Please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more gaming, tech, and VR content. From me and the crew here at Metasquad, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Later!